These are our homework solutions for day 5.1. So we're given an equation, y equals x squared minus 4. And as soon as we see this x squared in our equation, we know that we're going to be dealing with some sort of quadratic graph. We're going to get a parabola or a curve. And it says x is from -3 to 3. That's telling us that they want us to use in order from -3 down to 3 the following x values. So now we have an equation right here, and we simply substitute our x values into our equation to get our y value. So when we do that, we substitute in -3, and we end up with a value of 5 for y. Substituting in -2, we get a value of 0. Substituting in a value of -1, get -3. Put 0 in for x, we get -4. So we end up with a whole bunch of coordinates. So once we've calculated all our coordinates, we can plot them on a graph. And here they all are, from -3 all the way up to 3. And if we connect these points right here, we get our parabola shape. There's a couple of things that we can notice about this parabola. The graph crosses the x-axis at 2 points. It crosses it here, and it crosses it here. The graph changes direction right here at the pointy end. This is called the vertex, and right at the vertex, the graph goes from one direction and starts going the other direction. In this case, this point right here also marks the point at which the graph crosses the y-axis, so it's also the y-intercept. Question 2, we have a new equation, 2x squared minus 8. Once again, we're simply going to substitute these x values into the equation from -3 to 3. So we'll start plugging them in. Substitute -3 in. We get a y value of 10, so our coordinate is -3, 10. Substitute -2 in. Our y value ends up being 0, so we get a coordinate of -2, 0. And we continue on with the rest of our values, each time plugging in the x value and coming up with a corresponding y value. Now that we have all these coordinates, we can plot them on our graph. And then when we connect the points, once again, we get this parabola shape. Here, the points where it crosses the x-intercept, the points are -2 here and 2. Our vertex, again, right on the y-axis, occurs at the point 0, -8. So 0, -8 is our vertex, but -8 is also our y-intercept. Question 3 gives us the equation y equals -x squared plus 6. Now this is the first time in this homework that we've seen the negative sign, and that's going to have a little effect on our graph. So if we go back to question 2 and question 1, we'll see in both cases the x values have had, the x squared values have had a positive coefficient here. Now in question 3, the x squared value has a negative coefficient. With the positive coefficient, look at the shape of the graph. Kind of looks like a happy face. Let's go back to number 3. Negative, we'll see what kind of effect that has on our graph. Once again, we're substituting in all the x values from negative 3 in this case to 3 to get our y values. Will give us a whole bunch of coordinates. When we have the coordinates, we can plot them on the graph. And this time, when we connect our coordinates, we get a parabola, but it's upside down. And the reason it's upside down is because of this -1 coefficient right here. So a negative coefficient gives us this kind of sad face parabola, or it's opening up or facing down. Here are the x-intercepts right here and here. Here's our vertex, 0, 6. And this is also our y-intercept because it's crossing the y-axis at the point 6. This equation is a trinomial, x squared plus 2x minus 8. It has a positive coefficient in front of the x squared, and we're asked to calculate and fill out the table from -5 to 3. So we've got all our x values from -5 to 3. We'll substitute those values in and come up with some corresponding y values. We're generating a whole bunch of coordinates. And now, when we plot these coordinates on our graph, it looks like this. And when we fill in or connect all the coordinates, we get this parabola that's facing up, our happy face, because we have a positive coefficient here. Our x-intercepts, or the place where the graph crosses the x-axis, is -4 and 2. Our vertex is -1, -9, right here, the pointy part where it changes direction. And our y-intercept is -8. This is the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. Question 5 gives us the trinomial y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. And they want us to use x values from -2 over to 4. So we'll substitute those values in to generate all our coordinates. And our coefficient is positive, so we're expecting a happy face with our parabola. And sure enough, there it is. Our x-intercepts, the graph crosses the x-axis at -1 and 3. Our y-intercept is -3. And our vertex, this pointy end here, is 1, -4.